You are listening to Basement Chronicles with Lisa Dublin, episode number 29. Hey, you made it! Welcome to my basement. I'm Lisa Dublin, a health and life coach, and I help professional and executive women to live, lead, and speak with confidence. Because you know what? Developing your confidence and deepening your faith in God is the best formula for an amazing life. So, are you ready? Let's go. Hey, podcast listeners, how is everybody doing? I'm on fire this morning because I just listened to another podcast that really set me ablaze and made me realize there is energy for the journey ahead, that we can finish this year having accomplished all our goals and with the kind of, accomplishments that mean something to us. So are you ready? Are you that kind of person, or are you feeling weary and all of that? I know how it is. I've been feeling a bit down myself, but you know what? Let's move forward together. Let's move forward knowing that we can make it. There is strength available, help available, inspiration available, and most importantly, God available. I was looking at, somebody posted a PDF or something that they were offering to people about 33 ways to succeed. And you know how those types are out there that always want to do things without God. And nowhere in those 33 things was there mentioned the thing that makes you succeed the most, which is having a relationship with God. And I was like, okay, I guess that's the way of the world, but that's not my way. And I'm pretty sure if you listen to me and if you follow me or you're in my world and we're connected this kind of way, that you do have a sense of spirituality and about how God is important in your life, and maybe you too are on that journey like I am. But let's get into our podcast for today. Do you guys remember that I did an episode about 3 things that a woman must control? And I mentioned that the 3 things would be control your sex drive, control your food, and control your money. These 3 things are still very true, but I feel like I came up against a truth that I was not strong enough to speak about. And that's the reality of it. The last couple months, apart from everything that has been going on with me, and I spoke about that in episode number 28, the result of this emotional turmoil was emotional eating, you guys. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? So, let's talk today about food. Oh my goodness, you guys. To say that I don't feel qualified to speak about it is an understatement. The last couple months, not only has it been tough emotionally, I've also been eating emotionally. Eating a lot more snacks than usual, just feeling a bit desolate. So that I would just take whatever is in the fridge and, whatever is in the cupboard, the children's snacks, all of the things, okay? The exercise has been consistent with me as a form of stress relief and, keeping my mood up as much as I can. But my diet, that suffered because I didn't feel right inside. Can anybody identify? Those of you who know my story perhaps remember at this point that, hey, yes, she did say a long time ago that she suffered from bulimia. Yes, I did. For many years in my early 20s. Well, you might say, what is a Black Island girl suffering from bulimia for? But here's the thing. I can literally point back then, even further back in my college days, to 2 or 3 other people who at the time, when I come to think of it now, exhibited the same symptoms of maybe not bulimia, but definitely anorexia. So it is not as unusual within the Black community as you might think. And, we have to get rid of the stereotypes so that we can deal adequately with the problem. I tell you this so that we can put what I'm going to say next about food into context. I'm still very much attached to food. There are people who will not eat when they are stressed. That is not me. When I am stressed, I will gobble everything up and then the mommy and daddy. Okay? Are you the person who does not eat when you are stressed, or are you that person like me who definitely just feels ravenous and just eats everything that is in sight? Now, from 2019 up until about 2022, deep into the COVID-19 pandemic, I was on a very strict regimen, honestly. And I stuck to it for the most part. You guys probably have heard of my journey. It is chronicled in Basement Chronicles, the vlog on my YouTube channel. So go check them out there. I think, though, I fell out of routine, and it has been hard to pick up the pieces. So even though I work out a lot, I would have been much further, I think, in my weight journey if I was not snacking so much and if I was sticking to, eating as healthy food as I could. But here's what I know to be true. When I eat healthy food, I feel better. And that is where I want to go with this podcast. I can't help everybody, but I can share some of the things that have worked and still work for me, even though I don't have it all together. My body, my skin, and my brain respond better when I eat vegetables, protein, complex carbohydrates, whole grains, and drink plenty of water. And you know what? They are much better for me than soda, packaged and processed foods, white flour, and of course my favorite snack, which is any cheese snack, okay? I usually have a better digestive flow, and of course, the plumbing works better when I eat better. What about you? It's probably the same thing. So it's a very good thing for us to eat as close to how God made the food as possible. I heard this concept of eating as close to how God made the food as possible from Rochelle T. Parks. Rochelle is a health coach motivator, she calls herself, and you can find her on Instagram and of course on YouTube. And I follow her closely because, like the next person, I definitely need motivation to make the right choices about what I put in my mouth to eat. Rochelle has 3 rules for optimum health. 1, eat the food that God called food. That would be meat, fish, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, legumes, etc. That is food. And food is not burgers that don't rot. Burgers from McDonald's that can stay put for years on end. Okay, that is not food. We should not be eating that or giving it to our children. My kids do have it from time to time, but it's definitely not a staple anymore in our household. The second rule from Rochelle, where food is concerned, is eat the food as close to its original state as possible. I had to learn this. The broccoli and the kale, the string beans, all of the things, the cabbage, if you're steaming it, it should not be limp. You don't have to have them mushy, because when you do, they've actually lost their nutritional value. And, just watching her videos taught me that retain the crunch in the vegetables that have the crunch, okay? And as much as possible, if you can, eat them raw. I'm not there yet for most things, but for carrots, even for cauliflower as well, I find that when I make the attempt to eat it raw, that it actually tastes good. The carrots can be sweet as well. So don't overcook your food, I think, is the lesson there in that second step towards optimal health. Here's her third rule. Do not allow any food to be your God. In other words, do not tolerate addictions. Now, my addiction is coffee. I admit it. I'm working on it. Especially when I'm doing fasting, I try to stay away from the coffee as well, to train myself that food is not a God, that no food should take the place of God, that I can't do without it. And you know what? To my credit, if I may, I think it's a matter of what the stakes are, whether you can stay away from something or not. Because when I was pregnant with each of my 3 children, I gave up coffee from the time I found out that I was pregnant until I finished breastfeeding. So you can imagine just the sense of elation when I was done with the entire process. So you can up-level your diet almost immediately if you follow those 3 rules. And I try to go with some form of what she has said as much as possible. One of the things now about emotional eating is that I find I really lose all resolve later in the afternoon. And they've said that. So morning time, I usually have my protein shake. I've got that down. Then I might have a midday meal that would consist of the broccoli, the kale, chicken breast, maybe sweet potato. And then it progressively begins to wane. And that is when I will reach for whatever is in the fridge. So I have learned to prepare for those moments of weakness and a lessening of resolve. The way that I've learned to do that as well is to not put the snacks in the house. The ones that I know will make me falter, I just don't buy them anymore. And I literally have found myself, because the snacks are not there, I've turned to the healthier alternatives, the apples, which I love, grapes, or maybe even having plain Greek yogurt and some grapes in there. Another thing that I learned to like, I'm living up here, apples and peanut butter. Oh my goodness, they taste good. Here's another concept about handling emotional eating. Instead of rushing to numb your feelings with food, just let yourself feel all the feelings. If you find yourself feeling very agitated, desolate like I've been feeling the last while, angry, sad, depressed, and you reach for food, just do nothing. Let the feelings feel. Let them come through your body, through your heart, through your mind. Let them wash over you. I know this is hard, but when I've been able to just stay in the feeling, it is, first of all, almost unbearable, honestly. And then slowly, it releases. I don't know any other way to describe this feeling of just letting myself go through the process of uncomfortable feelings, but to describe it like when you have a baby naturally, how the contractions come, it bunches up, and then it passes until the next one. The more you can practice every day or every so often to just let yourself stay in the feeling of your feelings. I'm angry. I know that I'm angry, or I'm sad and I'm reaching for food. No, I don't want food. What I really want is to just deal with the feeling of being angry. Let yourself feel the feelings. So the more you're able to practice that level is the more you will be able to control your cravings at the height of any emotional turmoil. The other thing that I've found that helps me is to drink a lot of water and to do so early. My new trainer, she's a woman, and hopefully you're going to meet her soon on the podcast. She taught me a little hack, and she said this: drink 1.5 liters by 12 noon, and you will most likely be able to get through the rest of the water by the end of the day. But most of us, we don't drink any water for the most part of the day. We just load up on carbs, load up on sugar with the sweetened drinks. And so when it comes to drinking water, your palate is not accustomed. But if from before 12 o'clock you can get yourself accustomed to drinking water, you're more likely to continue in that vein. So everybody, 1.5 liters of water by noon every day. Try it and see what happens. There are a lot of other little hacks that we can use to help our diet along. The more I eat healthy food is the less I want to eat the sweet stuff, the fatty stuff, the processed food. I always tell people about my journey with bagels and to show it as a way to start to push towards the thing that you want, and you're going to pull away from what you don't want. The way that I got over bagels was not to just go cold turkey on bagels. I couldn't even if I tried. Okay? I couldn't. The way that I got over bagels was to just have more of the good stuff every day. More broccoli, more kale, more chicken breast. The protein fills you up in a way that the bagels and the sweet stuff doesn't. And the more that I indulged in the healthy food, is the less that I had space or room in my stomach for all of those bagels. So it got to the point where I would allow myself to have the bagels only on a Friday or a Saturday. There was a time I couldn't go 1 or 2 days without having a bagel and a coffee from Tim Hortons, right? So I was able, with the help of eating right, to just relinquish the bagel to the weekend. And after that, then it was perhaps every 2 weeks or every month or so. And now I can eat a bagel without feeling that pull of it's an addiction that I need to have it. So eat more of the good stuff and you will not want as much of the not so healthy food. So you guys, here we did it. Can we all settle that if we can control our food, we are more likely to be productive and healthy and contributing members of society? One last thing I forgot to put in there. Food prep is not a nuisance. That is the basis of everything you're doing in the gym. That is the basis of this exercise, of getting results at the end of the month. What it is if you can take the time and make it a priority to prep the healthy food ahead of time, you are more likely when you are hungry to have something healthy at the tip of your fingers than something that you just open a bag and eat like chips or something of the sort. So make it a priority. Maybe on the weekend, get the children involved, get your partner involved in this thing called food prep, because it's really going to help you to determine your results. Anyway, you guys, thank you for listening to this episode. I hope it helps. Food can be a stumbling block, and if you don't eat properly, you're going to be overweight, obese even. You're going to suffer from lifestyle diseases, and you're going to be more prone to all forms of cancer, inflammation, and emotional mood swings. So eat clean as much as possible, and let's see how it affects your mind, your spirit, and your productivity. Thank you so much for listening today. Now, I know that you prioritize your growth and success. So if you feel stuck in any area of your life, why don't you consider life coaching? My signature program, How to Get Unstuck Total Transformation, has helped so many professional and executive women to free themselves of limiting beliefs and habits, learn to love and prioritize themselves, set firm boundaries and stick to them, be more confident, move up exponentially in their careers, and become the best versions of themselves. How badly do you want to get unstuck? How badly do you want to be the best version of you? If you desire more, take the first step right now. Go to my website, lisamdublin.com/coaching, and book a consultation with me. Let's talk about your coaching needs, because the life you want is totally possible.